welcome back once again for another video. So today it is going to be another ride with the beast, and today I am going to try something different with the ZX. I am going to ride it in the low power mode and see whether the low power mode does make any difference in the performance of the motorcycle. So I have ridden this motorcycle in low power mode, but that is whenever I travel to some hill stations or while riding inside the cities, or where the roads are very poor, where it is not possible for me to ride in the medium or full power mode. I used to ride the ZX in low power mode. But today what I am going to do is I am going to deliberately ride it in open road in low power mode and see whether it makes any difference with the ZX. So here we begin. First let's put the motorcycle into low power mode. And yes, here the motorcycle is into low power mode, and then let's start. Now here we are riding in low power mode now. So first let me tell you what happens actually when we put the motorcycle in low power mode. The motorcycle generates only 70% of its maximum power while being on low power mode. So the maximum power of this motorcycle is 210 horsepower with ram air injection, and 70% of 210 comes around 146-47 horsepower. So even that figure is pretty big for someone like me who is used to ride only small motorcycles. The ZX is my first and only super bike I am owning, and before that I was having a Ninja 300. Even though I am still using the 300, I ride the ZX regularly, and when compared to the 300, even the low power mode of the ZX is quite a huge jump. And the first major visible difference in the low power mode is the throttle response. There is a huge difference in the throttle response while the motorcycle is in full power mode and in low power mode. In full power mode, just a slight twist of the throttle will push the motorcycle like anything, and you can feel the instantaneous power of the motorcycle while at full power mode. Whereas in low power mode, that instantaneous response is not there, and you have to twist the throttle to get the power out of the motorcycle. So literally what I can say is the motorcycle feels a lot less powerful at low power mode, even though it generates around 147 horsepower of power at the low power mode. What I feel as a rider is the motorcycle is pretty slow, and the response to the throttle is very low at low power mode. So what happens is you will have that extra allowance to make some mistakes while riding inside cities or in terrains where too much of power is not necessary. So that is the first major difference which I could see while riding the motorcycle at low power mode. And one more thing is the power mode doesn't affect the traction control or ABS of the motorcycle. The traction control and the ABS stay at the same level, and only the power output and the throttle response of the motorcycle undergo changes while changing the power mode in the ZX. So now the question comes to our mind: how does this reduced power helps us in riding through different conditions? So imagine you are riding in city limits, and there is a lot of traffic. You are in a stop and go traffic mode, and imagine having 210 horsepower of power at your hand, and even a small twist of the throttle will put out a lot of power to the wheels of the ZX, and the motorcycle will be pushing you through the traffic, and it will be very difficult to control the motorcycle with those powers in city limits. So to make the motorcycle quite rideable within city limits, they have this facility of power modes, and the power modes are available in almost 100% of the super bikes on the market today. You cannot even see a single motorcycle without power mode. And I remember my ride to Kolli Hills last year, January. It was a small hill station, but to reach the hill station, you have to ride through 70 hairpin bends. The hairpin bends were very sharp and small, and I was really struggling with the ZX even in my low power mode. I was riding along with my brother who came in his KTM RC390. The 390 was pretty comfortable through the hills, but the ZX, even in its low power mode, was almost overshooting all the hairpin bends. And imagine you are in your full power mode through those curves and hairpins. So that is why these power modes were in super bikes, and they do serve their purpose very well. And imagine riding through roads where there are a lot of potholes or small pebbles, where the tire could not get a proper grip on the tarmac. Riding on those roads with full power mode will make sure that you will have excess wheel spin. So the low power mode reduces the power and prevents such things from happening too. So that's the difference the low power mode in the ZX makes, and that is what it feels like to ride the motorcycle in its low power mode. And that's it for today, guys. Thanks for watching. See you all once again in another video.